We are live with another episode of the Keeg Talks. Today, the Keeg Talks Peacemaker Season 2. I'm your host, Dimithri, and if you're watching us live, you are watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Maybe it's Spotify, maybe it's Apple Podcasts, maybe it's one of the many podcast platforms we're on. But no matter how you're digesting us, whether it's live, in person, or watching the video later, or just listening to the podcast, thank you so much for digesting us. And like, comment, subscribe. Let us know you're out there. Do your thing. Hop in the chat if you're watching us live. We would love the interaction. Yes, I'm the host, Dimithri Pereira, and I got two guests on this show, two of which are normal, recurring Comic Talk crew. We got Aaron, aka King Krakoa. Aaron, what's up, man?
What's going on, my guy? How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. It's weird to see you guys on a weekend. I'll say that.
Right on a Sunday, nevertheless.
Yeah. But we got stuff to talk about that's outside the scope of what Comic Talk that we do every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's outside the scope of that. This is Peacemaker Season 2. Sure, it's based off a comic property, but we're here to talk about Season 2. So, thanks, Aaron, for coming out.
Of course.
We also got new Comic Talk crew member from Comic Talk every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We got Joshua Ling, aka Joshua Stephen Ling, on social media. Joshua, what's up, man?
What is up, y'all? How's it going?
Going good. I was telling Aaron, I mean, in front of you, right? That you are essentially one of the freshmen on Comic Talk every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But now you're on, I think, your first episode of the Keeg Talks.
This is
it's a little different.
This is it. I'm happy to be here. I feel like I got my locker situated, so we're good to go.
That's good. The counselor is gonna have to talk to you about summer school, though. I'm just so
classic.
Yeah. So here's a question for you guys with Peacemaker Season 2. With everything. Before we even get into our scores of Season 2 and then why and all that stuff, did you guys like Season 1? How did you guys feel about Peacemaker Season 1? Because we did a podcast episode a couple years ago on Season 1, but I'm wondering how you guys felt about all that.
I'll let Josh go first.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed Season 1. I think I was not a fan of the Snyderverse at all. Really disliked it with maybe a passion, actually.
Yeah.
But I still watched most things. I always get confused. Whatever the second Suicide Squad movie, I can't remember.
Suicide Squad.
Okay, I can never remember is the article or no article.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, I was like, okay, James Gunn, I'll watch it, and it was super fun. It did some, his classic stuff that I like about his storytelling. So when Peacemaker Season 1 came out, I was like, okay, I'm probably definitely gonna like this. And I did. I thought it was really fun. I thought John Cena was perfectly cast as the character. And it kind of, within that universe of where it was being told, I was like, okay, this is something within that I can like, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Snyderverse, is like it went through so many kind of changes before they kind of were like, look, we can only renovate the house so much. We got to move.
Yeah.
We got to move things, right? And like, maybe we take some of our things with us. But for the most part, it's a brand new house, brand new start. Aaron, how did you feel?
I liked it. I honestly I loved it because I didn't know, without knowing a lot about Peacemaker, it was just a random guy to really just like start this off with, and through it, like it was also comedic, but also kind of like it had its like undertones of it. Like, and it ended up being way better than I thought it would. Like, from the connecting into the Suicide Squad to how like the characters like randomly work together. I honestly like loved it for through and through, and it just like kept getting better each episode. I think for me,
Yeah. Um, Funny thing is, I was like, when did the Suicide Squad come out? 2021. So it's been 4 years
Oh wow.
jeez,
since
it's like
that
it's been
movie.
longer.
When so like, look, as a DC fan, I was gonna watch anything that DC was gonna put out. Like I was, but
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
speak openly and honestly about like what I thought.
Mm,
I was not a fan of the Snyderverse, but it was the only thing we had, right? And it's one
hmm
of those things like some people like it and some people don't, and like I think maybe it's a matter of taste. I
Right.
don't
I
like.
didn't hate it, but
I mean, I could go in with critical analysis and
right.
kind of dare I say rip it apart. But the point being is that like if you like it, you like it, and it is what it is. But it at least got to exist. Now it's over. Now we got the DCU. But back then in 2021, the Suicide Squad comes out. James Gunn does it. It's a sequel, semi-sequel to Suicide Squad, which was critically panned, moderately commercially successful. So James Gunn does it. He does a great job. I didn't know what to expect. I By the end of that movie, I hated Peacemaker. I
Yeah.
hated him. And
Yes.
that
Yeah.
final scene of the post credit scene where they're like, "Oh, we found him in the rubble." I was like, "Come on, like,
Fuck. Why?
is it Rick Flag? Like, please let it be Rick
I was
Flag."
hoping it was Rick.
Yeah.
But the point of the glass to the heart, we see it puncture.
Hmm
That's supposed to be like, yeah, Rick Flag is dead.
That's it.
And then they announced that they were going to do a Peacemaker show, and I was like, I don't want this.
Who want?
I don't. Who wants this? I don't want this. This sounds
Yes.
ridiculous. It doesn't sound funny. It sounds like giving the villain his own movie sort of
That's
situation.
exactly what it was.
And then I watched season 1, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yes.
oh. And it won me over by like maybe the second or third episode. Like I was like, ah,
Yeah.
shit.
I forgot
Yeah.
that I was watching the guy I hated through the thing. Like, and it was exactly what you said. I was like, why are we rewarding the guy who killed like essentially the main character of the Suicide Squad? Like he and like this, and we just like let it go. And it was like you said, who wants this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? And I literally forgot by like the first or second episode. Honestly, like I was like, okay, I get it. I was like, I like it. And then as you watch it, you don't realize that you're starting to understand, oh, this is why you are the way you are. And I was like, oh, do I like you? Like I was like, do I want more for you? I don't know. It was very weird. But it was a such a smart choice to do.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, I think that's where DC thrives, like putting their like random like heroes like in the forefront that people don't know about. Because I mean, that's how the what was it? The Arrowverse came. Like, no, who would have thought to put your whole universe on the Green Arrow,
Right.
and it would have worked out for years, like and for like had a whole fan base. And yeah, I think that's where they thrive, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The context, I forgot the entire context of like going into season 1 until you just
Yes.
said it, because I've
Yes.
swung so far into really liking
Yes.
this character and wanting him to be better than the reason, like his trauma. And so yeah, it's
hmm
just funny to think there was a time when I was like, nah, screw this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want anything good for him ever.
But
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Like the Suicide Squad is one of my favorite comic book movies overall. Like the Suicide Squad, I have it on 4K. Like I only get certain movies on like physical
hmm
media, and I was like,
Mhm.
I gotta have this 4K, great. And I show it to everybody that I can. And so like, it was cool. I think I just trusted James Gunn. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I trusted him enough to watch the first episode to see what it was about.
Right.
And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, okay, they're going into like I think the first thing he does is cry, like in that first episode, like of season
Mhm.
1. And I was like, okay, yeah, I don't want to reward this villain and like try
Right.
to empathize. Like the show I thought was
The
gonna
villain
be
of all
about
villains.
like he's not that bad. Why don't we just get behind this anti-hero and just have some fun?
Yeah.
And it's like he just
Yeah.
killed Rick Flag. He did all that stuff. And like season 1 really like humanizes him, but not to the point of
Yes.
absolving him.
Right.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
Exactly. That's what I
Um
appreciated. We like understand like yes, this is something that was done to you, not something that you just did, but also you have to take accountability because you're not the one. Like you still did these things.
Right.
yeah. It's both ways, right? Like he was like nurtured horribly and had,
Yeah.
you know, but then he's also a human being, adult.
Right.
Like
You're an
you
adult.
can make
Right.
your decisions, but first thing you got to be aware of where you came from, right? And that's kind of season
Exactly.
1. Um,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so I'm glad it didn't, you know, go all the way to being like, oh, he's okay, whatever.
Right.
My
Yeah.
big problem is like other media, like Kylo Ren, for instance. You know, I
Mhm.
don't think that Kylo Ren. I don't think any character by dying of a sacrifice makes up for if they did bad
Yeah.
things later or earlier. You know, like
Yeah.
dying
Mhm.
is the easy thing for a character to do, but like Peacemaker just won't die, and that almost is torture because he's done bad
Yeah.
things in the past, and like that happens. Before we start talking about season 2, real quick, out of 10, just what would you grade season 1? Because I didn't prep you
Mm.
guys for that, but like for me personally, I would say like a 9 out of 10. I wouldn't say it's a perfect 10 out of 10, but I would say it's like a 9 out of 10 because I think like I went back to rewatch season 1,
Yeah, I
and
did
it really
before I
starts
did.
off slow and picks up,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
especially
Yeah.
when you know what's gonna happen. Like
Yes.
episode
Right.
1 doesn't have rewatchability for me.
Like I can. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, like I can watch it a couple times, but I can't like over and over. But I do like the the janitor like who was
Mm.
in the first episode, like that whole relationship and them talking. I'm like, okay, so like he's saying the thing out loud. He's like, yeah, no, you're a piece of shit. Like I was like, yeah. I was like, so yeah, me, yes. Why are we
Yeah.
doing this?
Yeah.
But through and through, I think for that season, honestly, it would probably have to be. Shit, I feel like it's probably like an 8.5. I
Yeah.
8.5. Honestly, yeah, it was up there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I was gonna say 8.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think I do enjoy I really do like a slow burn show.
Yes,
It's
me
just
too.
something that I like. Um but I think like there was a little bit in season 1 where it took a little while for me to find out actually what is the story aside
Hmm.
from uh getting to know Peacemaker.
Right.
It just took a little bit to get the actual plot of the season.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I still think it was really solid and
Yeah.
it did the thing that I was surprised about, which was making me
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I still won't rep, like I don't have a Peacemaker shirt, I realized today. And I was
Exactly.
like, oh, but I don't really want one.
Want it? Right.
If I was gonna get one, it would be like off another character.
Right.
Mhm.
But what I did realize is I had this the Rick Flag shirt.
Oh, nice.
So I had to get this custom made for a costume because they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's probably on like Amazon or something, but I had to like get it custom printed. Anyway, point being
Dedication.
is, yeah, for anyone
Right.
listening to the podcast, I have his obsticulos son oportunidades. Obstacles are opportunities shirt that Rick Flag wears in not Santa. No, it's not Santa Prisca. It's Quarter Maltese.
Quarter
Maltese,
Maltese,
yeah.
yeah.
And that bunny comes back in the finale of this season. So
God, yeah.
let's get to it. What now that we know what you guys gave season 1, what would you grade season 2, and why? Quick thoughts, and then we'll get into everything almost chronologically. We'll go through the season.
I think I would probably the same rating, honestly. 8, 8.5. Like that's a I want to say 9, but I don't know. I feel like there could have been something. I don't know why. But yeah, I want to say 8. It's a strong almost 9 though.
Okay. I'm still working on like my own thoughts about this season, so hopefully
Mhm.
talking about it with you guys will help
Yeah,
me understand
same.
certain things. Um, but for me, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I
Okay.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it as much as the first season, and
Mhm.
I think the reasons why is like I saw things coming from a mile away, and I think that there are other people who are more caught aback and weren't thinking about like where is this heading might enjoy this season more. But
Mhm.
like I was thinking about where is this heading. I can see the writing on the wall. I have my theories, and most of them came true. And like it for me, it was like get to the point. That was I think that was my big uh, critique of this season is like get to the point. Like get to the point.
Mhm.
Stop wasting my time. I know you're better than that. Get to the point. So for
You
me, it's
better
a
than
7 out of 10.
that.
Okay. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I think maybe I'm leaning towards about the same, maybe like an 8, maybe like a
Mhm.
7.5.
Mm,
I think it was a really good season, and I enjoyed it immensely. But I do think that there were you had 8 episodes, and for it to somehow feel like it was too slow and too rushed at the same time is like really odd to me.
Kinda.
I don't know how
Kinda.
you did that. It was impressive. I think the last episode for me felt like it was super rushed, but then also didn't really
Give us
resolve much.
enough.
Yeah,
Right.
but
yeah.
overall, I really enjoyed it. I think, but I do think it was like there were moments where it was like, okay, we're moving pretty slow, and then also now everything is happening like that.
Mhm.
So that was kind of what's keeping it down for me, I think.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm in my head. I'm going over like you remember Tom Cruise in Minority Report where he's going through all the screens and whatever.
Mhm.
That's a
Yep.
good. That's like a good writer in my head. Is someone who's like, and then there's like there's writers who are typing on keyboards with like two fingers, right? And like
Hmm.
um if uh I think James Gunn is one of these type of writers, right?
Mhm.
Um but because he's really good at balancing so many different plot points and things and making it connect because nobody's coming in to cut his piece, right? Like
Hmm.
he's making it all work. This season had plot points that I could have done without. I don't see the point of it all, especially after all this, or at least as this season was kind of going. James Gunn said, "This is we don't have a Peacemaker season 3, but the events of this will lead into something else." Are we getting a season 3?
Right?
Like, what is going on here?
Because
So,
you can't end it like you can't you can't end it like there is a big lead up to like a good season 3 just to say, "Oh, but we're gonna have something else for you though." Like, no,
yeah,
we just made checkmate. Like, we're not just gonna, just go into something else. No, I want another season of this, especially with the new characters that they like the characters in this season that like became a great addition that I didn't know I wanted.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't want to jump into one of my big things until I don't know until we get to it. So what we're gonna do
Right.
is we'll go episode by episode ish,
Okay.
and just kind of talk about where this season starts off. Now the season starts off with um um Chris interviewing with the Justice Gang. That's kind of where it takes off, right? Like he has an interview with the Justice Gang. When he walks in, White Rabbit is the one leaving. She's a villain from Batman. They make a joke about it. It is what it is. Did you guys like that scene? Because I'll tell you actually one thing. I dislike that scene wholeheartedly.
I liked. I thought it was maybe out of character for some a little bit, but also I thought it was fucking hilarious. It would like just the random moment of they've been talking shit about these people this whole time and they didn't realize it. But honestly, I don't like it. It was one of the. I can see why you wouldn't like it because I was like, it feels out of character for like especially for like the Justice Gang, I guess that leads into the Justice League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard because I think there's this weird balance sometimes with I think I feel this way about a lot of James Gunn stuff that I sometimes he's better at finding the balance between like, oh, what's funny and what is
Hmm.
turning these characters into goofball buffoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that balance tips more this way. And so while I thought the scene was really funny, I was just like, it kind of makes these character like everyone involved just look like morons.
Yeah.
Not
That
just morons, assholes too.
Assholes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Right?
just complete assholes. Yeah. So yeah, it's hard sometimes to know how I feel about it outside the moment because I'm like, yeah, it's funny and it works
Hmm.
in the show, but that might not be how I want these characters represented all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially like for our first time for seeing like Hot Girl in the like in a live like universe where she's like a big part of it. She might be a big part of like the DCU, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like Guy
And
Gardner, it kind of definitely makes sense. Like that I would definitely expect from Guy Gardner. But everybody else I'm like, no.
yeah, I think Guy Gardner being a frat bro sort of kind of guy, like a guy past his prime in a
Yeah.
way,
Hmm.
still
Yeah.
being immature. Okay.
Especially just starting out with them, yeah.
For example, like I have to like figure out like am I just being too sensitive or like I don't know, but like they mentioned that like oh I brought up her camel toe all the time like or whatever like they mentioned
Yeah.
that and I'm like look okay
Yeah.
guy oh,
Inappropriate.
okay Max Lord we don't know much about this guy maybe this guy
Hmm.
is just super rich and he can just say whatever he wants or whatever. I feel
Right.
like Hot Girl would say something like not pro
Yeah.
like anything, but just be like, shut up, like stop
You're
talking
right.
about
Yeah.
that. That is
Right.
weird. Like, because if I was in the room, I'd be like, come on, like what the stop.
Right.
You know what I
What are
mean?
Yeah.
we why are we doing this? Yeah.
So I don't get what's at play there, but so to me it affects the way I'm judging Hot Girl. You know,
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, I think out of
She
all of
throws
them, yeah.
dictators to their death. Great, but also like she's okay with like weird sexual harassment in the
Right.
workplace. Like,
Right.
okay,
But this
Yeah.
isn't but we got to remember this isn't Shire. This is Kendra.
yeah, yeah. I love Isabella Merced, but that's a separate thing.
I do too.
Um,
That's on a separate thing.
Yeah.
uh, I actually forgot what actually was the first thing in this season, and that was the recap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the recap? Because I had a theory going into this season that from that recap alone meant wasn't like it meant like my theory got thrown out the window. Um,
Yeah.
and so uh how'd you guys like that recap where instead of they said last time on season one and um uh we have the last in our chat right now saying that they walked in on the camel toe conversation so yeah I mean you know but yes the
That's
recap
Awkward.
awkward, right?
thanks
We
for hopping in
promise
our
there was music
chat.
for that.
But what was I saying? Oh, the recap
Yeah.
essentially changing like a couple scenes. It was two. It was not just the end, but also any
Hmm.
jokes he makes about Wonder Woman or whatever gets changed to somebody else or the Flash because Wonder Woman and the Flash don't exist yet in the DCU,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and so they have to change that. And then they change the end scene of the Justice instead of Justice League showing up, the Justice Gang plus
Dang,
Superman and
yeah.
Supergirl, and this takes
Hmm.
place before the events of the Superman movie. Did you guys like that?
I did.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great, yeah, I thought it was a great way to automatically throw out any like it positions you to not have to worry about where this falls in. Is this universe or this universe or whatever? It
Right.
just says it's here.
This is where we are now.
Whatever happened that was related to that actually is now not true
Right.
Yeah,
anymore. And I
JK,
it's
think
like
that's
a
just
JK,
like,
different thing.
yeah, this
right?
is like different. So
JK,
yeah,
JK.
I liked it.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, I thought it was a good way to just be like, this is where we are now. Like, that was we had fun with that, but like this is we're just starting over, like kind of with a little Justice Gang. I am gonna miss the random jokes about, Aquaman and the Flash, but I can live with the new status quo and where we are now.
Yeah, this reminds me of because you had brought it up, Arrow. Um,
Yeah.
in the pilot of Arrow, Sarah Lance is played by a different actress because she dies on the boat.
Yeah.
She quote unquote dies on the boat in the pilot,
Hmm.
where Oliver Queen gets stranded. She, has died on the boat. And then we get to like season 2 where they cast I forget what's her name.
Katie Lots.
Katie
Hmm.
Lotz.
Hmm.
I can hear myself
Love
by the
her.
way. I can't.
Hmm?
Anyway, Katie Lotz, yeah, it gets and then they every flashback scene I think they re-filmed that part and
Yeah,
put Katie Lotz in. So then it's
is the
like,
one.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
that was Sarah Lance. Which is kind of what they did here, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. And honestly, I approve. And yeah, Loki. And honestly, that was White Canary was honestly the best thing honestly that happened out of the DC universe for me. I absolutely loved her. Now I want her in the DC in the actual comics, but
Yeah.
we will never have her. But I will
No.
I will hold out her for in my heart
Yeah.
always.
Um so as we do this, we go through like the 11th Street Gang is they get together on the rooftop. Obviously, we hint that something happens with Peacemaker and Harcourt, but they won't talk about it. Something awkward happened,
Right.
right? And so I assume they've had sex. I think that's like the
Right.
assumption that everybody just kind of assumes.
Mhm.
And he is sad about it, and he finds the other door to the other world, right? And that's
Mhm.
when the other Peacemaker attacks him. He hits the button and he kills himself accidentally.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Mm, right.
Um.
But can we talk? Can we talk
Yeah.
about the moment where Hardcore gets gets diagnosed as with toxic masculinity?
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was probably one of the most funniest things of the first episode.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why. Like as soon as he said it, I was like, "Yup, yup," and I just instantly bust out laughing. Like
Yeah.
it instantly made sense.
And it's not wrong. It sounds
It's not wrong.
weird. It sounds weird.
Yeah.
But
Very.
the idea is like she spent her whole life trying to like keep up with the men.
And
Like,
exactly.
and I don't mean that derogatorily. I just mean like socially and like in her job and
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
Like she's trying so hard to keep up with the men that like she's adopted these like negative
Right.
masculine traits that stop her
Exactly.
from opening up about her emotions.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be weak.
Mhm.
Right. She's literally called someone a pussy for like
Yeah,
like talking about their emotions. Like, and like even and it only gets solidified when she purposefully gets into a bar fight at the end of the episode, and we're just like, and where I'm for the first time in my life probably are like, maybe these guys have a point. Maybe you should just calm down. I don't know. Like, I'm like 'cause it was at one point where I'm like, these guys are literally just trying to stop you from doing it. Like you're just trying to like she
the
is
other guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, beating everyone up mercilessly in this bar. And I'm like, maybe we should just like, talk it out a little bit. Like just let's just walk this back a little bit,
yeah. Like I don't like. There's a couple of times in this season where like yeah somebody will say something and then she'll just essentially just jump to
Yeah.
wanting to kill the person. And I
She
feel
right.
Yeah.
like there might be
She's a
a
definition of
there
a
might
bitch
be
out.
something in the middle here, right?
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
right.
somebody sexually harasses you, beat them up.
Cool.
I don't know whether you need to like try to kill them, and the
Right.
people pulling you off from killing that person might not necessarily be
The
bad people.
bad ones,
Yeah,
you know,
it might not be
right?
all worth being
Yes,
potentially maimed and
Yeah.
killed.
right. Just because someone bumped into you, I'm like, maybe we can just like,
Was it
maybe we
bumping
can.
in, or did he say something like
He
"sweet
called
cheeks" or
her. He
something?
called her a bitch. He called her a bitch. No, it was he flirted with her, and then like she like taught. She like told him off, and then he called her a bitch, and
Yeah.
he walked up,
So like,
and
knock him out. Fine.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. For sure. Like
yeah,
in the first one she was cool. The second one and the third one, maybe. But after that, I was like, this guy's just trying to tell you to calm down.
Yeah.
And you just
yeah.
put this guy in the infirmary.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
We make fun of Batman for doing very like not in that respect, but like when people are like, dude, the guy just like stole a
You're just trying
purse. You don't have to put him in the
right.
like. Do you have to put him in the yard? Do you have to paralyze him for life? I don't know, but like
Right?
hardcore
Maybe
is hardcore, right?
Yeah.
yeah, that's her nickname for me, hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens in that final episode? Like the guy who was like, "My mom says my freckles are what or whatever."
Oh,
Like, what does he say? I
Bro,
forget what
my mom says
starts
my
it.
freckles are nice or my freckles are beautiful.
Yeah,
Like he just bumps into her and like he says, "Watch it" or something like that, and
was
like,
that it?
yeah, she was like, and she almost snapped, and like, but it was also a very like cute moment where like we see throughout the whole season, like where anytime that's ever happened, like she's instantly ready to fight them. But this one
mhm.
time, like Chris, like Peacemaker, tells her like just let it go and like let's just walk this back, and like he makes a joke and like she just like leaves it alone, and this is the first time through like both season we've seen her walk away from a fight. So I was like,
Mhm.
this is a little nice moment for them.
And like we see his growth too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
And I
very
think
much.
it was well done in the way that it was like, oh, he's very clearly like I think she was like, I don't need you to like protect me. I was like, I'm not protecting you at
And
all.
we're
I'm
protecting
protecting
him,
him. Like,
right?
you don't need anything, but he would have died.
Right.
Yes, right.
Which I think was just like so funny, and her immediate like, I don't need anything from you. And he's like, yeah, I
Yeah,
know. I'm not
you're right.
trying to give you anything.
You're right.
Uh,
Exactly. And I thought that was like, and it honestly, yeah, it does, like you said, show the growth, like for Peacemaker, like from being the misogynist that sometimes unknowingly racist that he is, and like from the first season, and just like grow to be this guy who's like, I know you don't need me, like I'm just, I'm just trying to protect the world from you, like
yeah.
and where he has to be the softer one in it, and
Yeah.
like has to and be the moment. And like I think that goes to like that and his relationship with Adebayo, like which
Yeah.
Hmm.
I was like I absolutely loved. Like I was skeptical about in the first season, but as like by the end of that season and through this second season, I ended up like being surprisingly in love with them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like their friendship is awesome.
Every character has their wants at the start of this season.
Yes,
How
exactly.
would you
And doing their own
pin
thing.
where does each character start off with their story arc in this season?
Ooh, Adebayo starts off with her new her new company, her little agency,
Yeah.
and like it's not going good.
And she's broken
And
up from
right,
her wife,
Her
right?
wife.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
her wife, right, exactly, and trying to figure that whole thing out of like and realizing like this is what she wants to do, while
Hmm.
like Vigilante is very lost, like
Yeah.
just throughout this, like without Peacemaker, which is crazy and so cute. Like his relationship with him is very cute. Like the big brother that he always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have a brother? No, right?
Yes, he
He
has a brother.
does. They mentioned
He
in
has a
season
big
1.
brother. Yeah, because Peacemaker says he knew him through his brother. And he was like, in this
Oh.
season, like he talked about
Yeah.
like, someone said, why he's like, why does he treat you like that? And he was like, his brother always treated him like shit. So like, he's always like glommed onto me or whatever. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a nice little moment for you. Like, cause I was like, you never knew why they like were so close, but like you get it. Like his older brother friend who was nice to him, and like he just always like was attached to him.
I mean, you also see,
Yeah.
like way Vigilante. Where do we see Vigilante? He's back at work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah.
I think
Friends with
Washing
Vigilante.
dishes or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
asking people to ask him about random facts about something
different
that he knows
animals.
nothing about.
Yeah.
Oh God. Like
Ooh.
knowing nothing about owls and spiders and everything else.
Um,
Uh, but I think I love him and Economos' friendship the most out of all of them. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like Economos is patient with him, but at the same time, he's like, okay, just shut the fuck up. Like, let's just
but Economos also knows what it's like to be shit on, right? So he will
yeah,
Yeah.
shit on Vigilante, but at the same time,
just
not to the point
enough.
of wanting him to leave. Like he
Yeah,
never
Right.
says, "Get
exactly.
away from me,"
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
because I think
Honestly
Economos
that
needs
makes
a friend too, right?
Yeah.
facts. Honestly, yeah. I was like, that makes sense. And people always shit on, and like he's probably the only one who doesn't shit on him, at least not intentionally.
I mean, he does. He's exasperated a lot. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of whether he
Yeah.
ever says anything maliciously.
he doesn't say anything maliciously. I think he always says it like unknowingly, like realizing like, oh, maybe that might be hurtful. Like,
Yeah.
Right. So that's, I mean, yeah. So we know where Chris starts off this season feeling rejected by
Mhm.
Harcourt.
Mhm.
Adebayo has her things going on. Viz does too. Economos is back to working with Argus, because
Yeah.
after the end of the first season, Adebayo like told everybody about
Out.
Waller and all the things. So Waller gets kicked out, and we see that Rick Flag Sr. gets put in charge.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know who
And
else
the
we get introduced.
Black
Do we get
Walker.
introduced to Flurry in this episode, or is that later?
Actually,
Tim
wait. I
Meadows'
think we
character?
do. I think at the like, yeah, because he's
Oh no,
a
that's
part of the
episode
Economos
2.
team.
That's episode 2 as they
Okay.
grow suspicious about
Oh,
Peacemaker.
I
right.
thought he
Yeah.
ended up at
With
the.
the
I thought
door.
he was at the end of it when Economo, because he was a part of Economos' team when they were doing that like supervision.
The house raid part? Oh,
When, no, when they're surveilling him, remember?
at what point does
In the
the
beginning,
orgy happen? Is that episode 1 or 2?
that's second episode. I think that's like second, third episode, maybe. Yeah. No, second episode, and like it goes into the third episode.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it all kind of blurs together sometimes, but
Yeah.
um
I've been watching it in the back on mute.
oh,
Yeah. I'm currently on episode 5.
we don't get introduced to Sasha Bordeaux until a couple episodes later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think she comes in like episode 2 or 3.
Okay.
And like I didn't like, I was very surprised that she like I hated her, but then by the end of like episode 7, I'm like, okay, you're not horrible. But yeah.
I think once they introduced that she had cyborg enhancements, like
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
That
made
made
her
her.
more useful to the team.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
the question is like, what is she there for? She just is a yes man essentially
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
until that point.
Yep.
Um, question: who was your guys' favorite character this season? Who did you guys really just want to see more of? And who did you want to see less
Ooh.
of?
Fuck. Okay.
Uh,
See, this is a hard one because out of like this season, it's a tie between Adebayo and Vigilante. Like they were both my favorites for different reasons. Like
mhm.
Vision is like innocent, but like Vigilante is innocent, but also like very murderous, and like we always like the way he equates some things to being like heinous to certain things where like you kill people, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and like we see, and like just like the difference between his like good and evil. But I do like seeing him this season, like just like kind of how he interacts with people. But Adebayo has been like she has secretly been like the slow main character of this show, like in the heart of this show, like honestly. And her and like watching her growth into like never like wanting to just do this so she can like get out of the game to realizing like no, I'm a part of the game, like I like this is where I need to
Mhm.
be, and like watching that growth like throughout, and like I mean like that talk with her wife, and like the look here, I said she's the like in my notes I wrote queen of motivational speeches, and I was like, and I put my girl. I was like, girl, know how to give a speech. Like it just, yeah, like she was, yeah, my through line through the show, honestly.
Yeah. I think Adebayo is definitely my favorite character this
Mhm.
season. I just the glue that holds everyone together, and
Yes,
I love that so much. And
yes,
like uh for a season where a lot of the time they're kind of separate and doing their own thing, like it was nice to see the moments when they were all
exactly,
together and just see how much she is like the heart of that team.
right.
Um in a lot of ways. And so she was definitely my favorite character, and I really liked her whole arc this season. And honestly, in some episodes, could have done with more of her.
Yeah, yeah,
I would love to see her as often as possible this season. Um, I think, man, I know it was intentional, but Rick Flag annoyed the shit out of me this whole season,
that's the
and his
thank you.
character seems so. I don't know how much we want to get into this, but it seemed like his character was operating and doing things. I know he was acting out of grief, but like he seemed like a different character from Creature Commandos almost
I
with
mean,
the way he was written.
he also
And
seems like
I
a different
was
character
confused.
from the beginning of the season to the end.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that gradually like change. And yeah, I he's the one I if I had to pick someone who I could have seen the least of, I think it would have been him as well. Like just watching him like gradually get darker and darker as we go into it, and like by episode 8 we see him like completely just like go off the rails, and just lose himself completely in his grief, which but also I did want to talk like we couldn't have picked someone older to be like he's definitely looks younger than Rick Flags Jr. But you know
He looks younger than Rick Flag Jr.
he looks junior younger if not the same age as Rick Flag
He
Jr.
looks older for sure, but the actor's only like 10 years older, and they wrote it in that he was like 18 or 17 when he had him. But like
Okay, all right, I can
Okay.
accept that. Okay, all right.
I I don't know. I'm severely pissed at Rick Flag Sr. to the point where I can't see his face without hating him now. Like I just can't like I am, and
Yeah,
I'm sorry to Frank Grillo or Grillo. I'm sorry, but like you were Crossbones in the MCU, and I hated you. Like he was a great character, but I
yeah,
hated you,
Yeah.
right? Like I hate your
yeah,
face. Um
Yeah.
and now like you did this heel turn where I'm like, I hate your face. I hope you die. Not to the actor, but to the character, right?
Yeah.
Like I
yeah. Facts.
I can't stand him, and I get the grief part, but at the same time, like I'm trying to figure out, yes, was the heel turn is the heel turn something more than just him like devolving or like slipping,
Right.
or is people online are like, did Lex Luthor do something to him? Like is he a different person than he is now? How much are we reading into this? And that's my big
Hmm.
problem with the final episode of this season, is that like we spent so much time on things to me that don't matter,
Hmm.
or at least as much time, and we didn't do it on like playing that thing of like, if
Hmm.
for example, if we were meant to think that Lex Luthor did something to his
Hmm.
personality or whatever, then there needs to be more hints at it than just
Right.
there was one point where she was like, oh, you said call you Rick or whatever, and he's like, whatever, okay. Is
Yeah.
he distracted, or is he a different person?
Right. I mean, well,
Right.
he did just get done doing a rail, so maybe he just got distracted. I don't know. Like, but also, I feel like it could. I feel like Lex Luthor may have manipulated him, but I feel like that was him. And like,
Yeah.
and we never also asked the question like, maybe there was a reason he left Argus. He was left Argus in the first place. Like maybe he's reverting back to old ways type kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like this
Mhm.
is like sending him through like the darker path of it.
Yeah.
Especially like without his like son, like this is gonna like why have a compass if this is what the result is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I also was just like similarly to you, Dimitri, was just like, okay, so now he's acting like a Lex goon. Like
Yeah.
we're bringing
Yeah,
in all of the people that like were working with
literally.
Lex, and then they're just like having fun. He seems totally like doesn't care about all of these like guys that are just getting destroyed in
Right.
Candyland World and everywhere else. And it's just like all these people are dying and you're like laughing and joking it up with the supervillains goons. Like what is happening here?
Yeah.
Uh yeah, super weird. I'd be interested to know like kind of how his character goes outside of this
Yeah.
season and what
Exactly.
is actually going on behind the scenes, but it was an interesting like, oh, we can't trust Lex. I'm just getting information from him to
Mhm.
now I'm sending him files and getting notes from him from prison.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
really interesting.
And his like main guy Happerstein is completely out of jail. Just like not
Yeah.
only out of jail, but going to like government meetings with him to talk about like prisons. Like
They're
what?
all, I mean, Otis is also a bad guy too,
Also, yeah.
you
Forget
know?
about all
And
this.
and I don't
Oh,
remember the women that were in the room in Superman, whether the women in
the
there were the
blonde one
same
was definitely there.
actresses.
Yeah,
Um,
the one with the shortcut was definitely
oh
there. I
really?
remember. Mhm.
Hmm.
Because I know it's like a boys club, right? But
Yeah.
by the way, shout out to Deanna. Deanna's in our chat right now.
Hey, Deanna.
Saying one thing
Yeah.
about Adebayo, I will always defend her. Deanna's also
Oh,
saying proud Rick Flag hate club member. And then she also asked, does someone here also suffer from bird blindness? Um, I'll say the joke that went too far, I thought was bird blindness stuff. Like I thought it was funny in the beginning, and then they kept doing it. And I'm like, can we like
no. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was a great through line, especially when
yeah,
it finally came to 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 have like results with him fighting the bird when Eagly like destroying essentially the whole group and he was like it was like what a penguin or something like that. I forgot what he
yeah,
said. He's like
a
you
duck,
know I
yeah.
have yes you know I have bird blindness. He said how dare you use my illness against me. He's like and I'm like this is hilarious.
I think like Tim Meadows is super funny.
Yeah.
I like it when you have like 10 bits that go 3 times each, let's just say,
Hmm.
instead of one bit that goes 30 times. Like I'd rather cuz like when he gives nicknames to people, I would have loved to see that joke continue and him give nicknames to other people, not just
Yes.
that team that like almost died, you know?
Yeah. The nicknames were hilarious.
But
That
they
bit
did
was so
too.
funny.
Yeah, you know?
But yeah,
Denise,
I
what I when she died, when she got hurt, I was like, oh no.
When titties? Is that
titties.
Yes,
Yeah.
not
yeah,
titties.
like it was like there was those like bits. There was also it would have been cool to see like
Oh
the
God.
idea that he keeps sharing information from like having known people. So like when he was
Yeah.
talking about the strip club and whatever, right? Like that's
Hmm.
funny and like
Yes.
RIP to that guy. But like, okay, but if that was a recurring bit that he just keeps, he doesn't share sensitive information and confidential information.
Right.
He shares
Just
like
as information about people.
yeah, like embarrassing things about people that he knows from firsthand experience. Like, remember that time we went to Tijuana and blah blah blah, and it's like like more recurring bits from a comedic standpoint than
Mhm.
like one thing like really drilled in. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, James Gunn's the professional here. I'm just saying maybe it would have been better whatever.
Well, hey, we might get more of it. I mean, it was only episode 7 he started. We might get more of it in,
Yeah,
if they decide to make a season 3, I guess, because that's
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, we'll
If
get
they
to
don't,
what?
I'll write a letter. I'm gonna write a letter for it if they don't. I'm serious.
Yeah. I mean, throughout this season, and we'll get to see the finale, soon enough. But like, I'm gonna tell you one thing that I hated, absolutely hated. I wish they got rid of it. I wish that's the problem. Like, it took too much time, and I was like, I don't know what the point of this is. I did not like the Saint Wild character, and I did not like I like what happened to him at the end, but I don't like the amount of time we spend on Michael Rooker's character, the Saint Wild guy who's the bird tracker, and
Oh,
he doesn't do jack shit, and like
yeah,
he just in the end ends up dying. I don't get the point of it other than to give Eagly something to do, but I think it could have
yeah.
just been better done. I hated that character. He
It's
added
funny you say
nothing.
that. Yeah, he didn't. It's funny you say that because literally, as you said that, he literally popped up on my screen as he's about to kill Eagle. Like, I won't try. But yeah, like
Yeah.
honestly, they could have just like he could have been in probably 2, 3 episodes, and we would have been fine. And that would have been cool, a cool little side quest for Eagly to have. Like,
Bring him one
I like
episode.
the
Like one
like.
episode where he sets his sights on him, he fails,
Mhm.
he wins. You think he gets the upper hand, then he fails, then he dies. Like one episode,
I can't have a whole episode of that. I'm sorry. I was
not a
like, I can.
whole episode, but like shorten
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, yeah, true. Okay, I feel it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just like, yeah, have him be like, just have a side A, side B story, have him be the side B story, and just like cut it out. I feel it. Okay.
You know, like
Yeah. I think that's what I was like thinking about when I think of like the season as a whole being like too slow
Hmm.
and like things getting drug out. It's like, okay, for someone who then literally had no consequence to anything, like he's not he found the cabin, but I don't remember. I feel like he didn't even tell anybody that he was there. It just so
Nobody.
happened that everyone ended up
Exactly.
there because of different circumstances, and then he just
Hmm.
dies. It was like, okay, I
Yeah.
guess that was
yeah,
important for some reason.
Right.
He
we also
didn't do anything on the raid of the house,
yeah.
like except miss because Economos, but
It was such
like,
that scene was also weird. He was like he was gonna shoot him, and then he kind of almost like bumps him into a rock. He hits his head, and then he's like, "Ow, what happened?" And I was like, "What is going on? Why are we?" A lot of this stuff is prolonging the inevitable, and
Yeah.
mhm.
you want to do it to an extent. You want to like kind of tease people, but I feel like a lot of this season was prolonging the inevitable when people already are like, "What? Get to it." That was my big thing. Is
Yeah,
like get to the point. And so all we get is this primal eagle reveal, which I thought was cool,
Yeah.
except for
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
the point is it never pops up again.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't. Yeah. I think that was the thing. Like, I feel like if it had like a result at the end of the show, then like I think would have probably ended up all those other things would have probably like made a better like slow burn moment for it and everything would have made
mhm.
sense. But it's the fact that yeah, we don't get to see anything of that. We'll probably end up seeing it later if there is a later, but nah.
Will we? Because I mean, I know that
Right.
people
Question
like
mark.
Eagly, but if it's not a Peacemaker show, if it's a Waller show or some sort of, I mean, whatever, I mean, not spoilers, but like everybody's seen it. If this is a Salvation Run sort of storyline,
Yeah.
like Eagly plays no part in it. If it's not a Peacemaker centered show, if it's
Mhm.
about anyone else, Adebayo could show up as a guest
Mhm.
star, but Eagly, like the only thing Eagly guest stars in is if they do like an Animal Man show and you see different superheroes' pets.
Right.
But like if Peacemaker's not the central person of the show, if he's a supporting cast, Eagly is so many steps removed.
Right.
You know,
Like, but I feel like if the group ends up being in it, Eagle will be in it.
I
Because I
don't
mean,
know.
they're going to be the ones essentially taking care of him now. I mean,
I'm
now
gonna
that
be
he like
now
is
that he what?
off in another world. I say now that Peacemaker's off in a whole nother place.
Yeah. For me also, I if I'm treating Eagly like I would treat a person character, Eagly's an asshole, and I don't like Eagly. I think that like in the end when he puts his wing around Economos, like just like we don't want Peacemaker to be a complete asshole all the time. We see him crying, we get some empathy to him. A character like
Mhm.
Eagly also needs to do that. Like if Eagly is going to be an asshole grump, essentially, he's a grump, right? If Eagly's going to
Mhm.
be a grump the whole both seasons, all the time, or even these like more so in season 2, like we need to see like some softer sides to Eagly other than Eagly sad. Like we need to see endear me to Eagly, and I don't think Eagly
Mhm.
was ever endeared to me.
Mm. I
That's
like Eagly now. Like
Now,
he's growing on me.
yeah,
He like he is a little asshole, but like yeah, like but like yeah, he's a fun little asshole. Like he doesn't go too far with it, but just enough.
like you could do so much with some of these characters with more time
Yeah.
or more effort, like less of Saint Wild, and like imagine imagine a scene where like Peacemaker is trying to learn how to paint, and Eagly like dips his feathers in and just kind of like snaps, and he's
Mhm.
like, oh, and then like Peacemaker copies that. Like, I want to see the friendship between those two instead of just being like he's a bird that listens to you sometimes. That's just a normal bird. Like you're lucky that he listens to you sometimes, sure, but like that's not a sidekick. That's just a bird that follows you around.
Yeah.
You know?
You
So
know what character I would want to see more of?
yeah,
Judo Master.
Judo Master was a standout this season.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
him.
Agreed.
Yeah. I
Agreed.
very much agree. Very much agree. Like I like it, and it's always like through the first season I was like I always like teetered between loving and hating him, but always finding him hilarious. But but then like this season I like he just slowly started like getting like growing under my skin, and then the seventh episode solidified it. With him and like his conversation with Adebayo, and just like the like just like his random like talks about massacre and killing, just like as a like, oh, remember that time I did like remember that time you tased me like thousands of times, and like, oh, what is this gonna lead to, and just like and just walks off like, oh yeah, like just remember that time, like, oh, it was a fun time, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really liked his character throughout this season, but especially once we get full in Earth X reveal,
yeah.
and then he's just in there like hiding out, just like yeah, his whole time with Adebayo was so good. And I
Yes.
really, really enjoyed his character this whole season. And it was someone who like, yeah, I think in season one I thought like, oh, it's a funny bit kind of
Right.
character.
Yeah.
Right.
And they really had a lot of good moments this season, which I really appreciated and thought it was like perfectly executed.
Right.
That actor is so funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I didn't know if it like, and I was like, through the like whole like time like from episode like season 1 and 2, I was like, is he gay? Is he not? I was like, this kind of like let me. I was like, oh, you are of the community. Okay, cool. I was like, I was like, yeah, I was like, there's no. I was like, now we know.
Yeah. I mean, I also like we learn a little bit more about him. And then also I think that the jokes they use for Judo Master, like that Judo Master says,
Mhm.
mhm.
are quality jokes that could have been prolonged more, like they
Yeah.
could have done more. But the idea that like, because there's a joke I wanted to hear more of, is the idea that he's like, this is, this beats my last record of electrocuting people in a pool all at once or whatever. And she was like, "What was your last record?" And he was like 5 or whatever. And this
Or
was like 13 or something. Like, yeah.
right.
But the
Yeah.
point being is like, oh, this beat my last record of this very specific situation.
Right. Right.
I
I said,
love
but that's
that
been his
joke.
through line. Like that's
Yeah.
been his through line. He's done that in the first season too.
Did
And I was
he?
like, that yeah. I forgot what it was. He was like, he did some specific thing about how he killed like 9 people in some specific way. And I was like, okay. Like what is like yeah, he's like, oh, this reminds you of that? Like why?
Yeah. He was also really smart. He got to the other side. He
Yes.
went to a house that didn't have people. He read the books, and like,
Yes.
I think that like I don't know. I thought he was the standout character to me this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like I think that Vigilante endears himself to me especially when we get the big reveal of the other Earth. Let's talk about that. Let's switch over to
For
this.
sure.
This is my big problem with this season, and that is the writing was on the wall to me, and I understand that people maybe didn't notice, but James Gunn is very deliberate with his casting, and in a good way. Even a character like Judo Master, in the comics, I think he's white, and he's just a guy who like essentially
Just, you know.
like he's white, and his name is Rip Jagger or whatever, and like he's white, he appropriates this costume essentially. Like not that a white guy can't be Judo Master, but like at the same time, why couldn't it be an actor like Nut
Right.
Lee is his name, right?
Mhm.
I believe it's pronounced Nut, but anyway, the point being is that like James Gunn cast that. Like James Gunn, quote unquote, didn't have to cast Adebayo. Like quote unquote. I think you should cast diversity because you're reflecting the world and in America and whatever that like exists. But like if you pull a Wes Anderson, like that guy doesn't do anything. Like it's just the same guys over and over again, you know? But James Gunn specifically casts diversely. So when I see the town that he goes to, I am looking at everybody and I'm like, oh, I noticed right off the bat. Like, yeah, everybody's white. Is there going to be an exception to the rule? What kind of Earth are we going into? You know?
Right.
Never even realized it. Like, I like now. I feel like
you didn't clock it
at all, at all.
Oh,
I did not know why and like as I'm looking back, when I look back at it, I'm like, there weren't any colored folk there, were there? And I was like, okay, cool.
You can make the argument that it's a small town, but when they go to the Argus headquarters and you don't see everybody's white at Argus headquarters, that's I think the bigger giveaway. You could say a small town could be all white, but even his town is not all white in the other universe.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And then it'll do a thing where it'll cut to the park scene where everybody's diverse, and you even see Flurry, like that girl walk by Flurry, and Flurry Flurry like says something about her, like the hot black girl that walks by, and then Flurry says, "You remember?"
Yeah, I don't remember what he said. I don't remember his line, but
I forget his line.
Remember the park.
So,
yeah, I think that was something that I noticed pretty early. I think it was like, it was just interesting given how I think once, like you were saying, once we got to Argus, it was like, okay, this is legit. Something weird is happening here. And I think it's interesting just seeing how like the main Earth, James Gunn is just very intentional about even extras and everywhere around just having lots of different kinds of folks, which I think is really great. But it was just like it made the reveal more, I think, about Chris than anything, which I appreciated that they made that be the big like kind of gotcha moment. It wasn't that necessarily the audience should have clocked it. It's like, okay, why isn't Chris clocking this? Because he has a very diverse friend group, and he has like what seems to be very diverse, like and like accepting views. But it was just so funny then when I guess it was episode 7, Harcourt clocks it like the second she's there. She's like, this is weird. Like watching her in the car, it was just like, oh my gosh, she knows exactly right off the bat that something is wrong.
Yeah. Here's a question about that reveal for you guys. Does people online were arguing on like, does it make like some people didn't like the fact that Chris didn't notice something so like so overt, because they make the joke Mein Kampf on the desk and they mention the Hitler mural in the background. Now, James Gunn on his podcast mentioned there's a second beat in between the two, and that was it was supposed to be Mein Kampf on the desk, the guys with the funny mustaches, and then it cuts to guys with the mustache just hanging out, just a bunch of guys, and then cuts to the mural. But he said that it was too cartoony, it was too cartoony with the guys with the mustache. Like, so he cut that
Mhm.
feat out. But it was funny because they mentioned that those guys shaved their mustaches down for a couple of days of shoots.
Right.
That
For
part gets
nothing.
cut, which means
That's
they had to
hilarious.
keep that mustache.
That's
Ooh, that is
hilarious.
rough.
Did
Oh
That is rough.
God. Y'all should have paid them for emotional damage.
Yeah.
you guys
I
like
think
that idea? Like, is this
I,
too comedic of a thing that he didn't notice? Like, what is going
I
on?
don't think so. I mean, like, okay, so I feel like there's two things. Like, I mean, yeah, you should have realized it, but like honestly, I think he was more focused on the fact that my brother is alive and this is a world where I'm being appreciated, whereas in my other world, I don't get any of this recognition ever. And I'm like, and my brother, who is my best friend, is dead. And like, and also in I think one of the bigger things is finding out your dad's not a complete piece of shit here. Like all those
Mhm.
things, like I think play a part into what's going on. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. Chris was there a little bit longer for him not to realize like that, like because you saved the whole town and like the whole in like multiple places and like at no point did you realize, hey, maybe something's not right. Like maybe there's too small of a city or a town or a world. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I think in the moment I was like, okay. Once they flashed over to the Hitler mural, and
Yeah.
I think his
Yeah,
line is, "That one's on me," or something like that.
something. Yeah,
I was like, okay, this went really far for him not to pay any attention.
right,
But I also think in like a meta sense, I can appreciate it in a way of like, oh, how many things are we willing to overlook about
right.
society and about uh
As long as we're
where
happy.
we are, as long as we're
Exactly,
getting the things that we think we want and need. And I think
exactly.
that's a pretty interesting meta thing to think about.
Yeah, very.
And I think that's the only reason why that like almost I mean a very too far joke lands, because it is just like, okay, he was so blinded, and what are the ways that everybody gets blinded by even
Mhm.
small things that are wrong because we're
Right.
getting something or we're benefiting in some way. uh so I thought it was fine after thinking about it, but at the time I was like, oh, this is really funny, and also like, okay, that's ridiculous.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too much.
Right.
I'm trying to think of personal experience of like, maybe if I'm making an excuse for them, like sometimes you walk by murals or paintings or whatever and you never clock what it is. You
You
just
never
kind of see
really.
the
Yeah.
general shape of it.
Mhm.
If you're in a hurry, if you're dealing with other things on your mind. I'm just thinking back when I was a kid, there was like this like salon near my house, and in the
Mhm.
window was a picture of like a woman getting a pedi from somebody, like, right, somebody tending to this
Mhm.
woman's feet. But in my mind as a kid, I always clocked that as that was Jesus. Like like there was like, because there was like long hair and like tending to someone's feet. Like, so when I think back, I'm like, the difference between like this like spa salon getting a foot rub versus like I think Jesus tending to somebody's feet or somebody tending to Jesus' feet is
Yeah.
like very close in like image, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe
There's
it's
a bit of
like that. Like you
symbolism.
walk by that mural of Hitler and you just see like a guy,
Yeah.
Right. And
and
we have to remember, like,
And the,
when he goes there just to see hardcore.
he
Like,
doesn't
he,
hang out,
like,
right?
right, he
yeah,
doesn't hang out. Like, he's
he
literally
doesn't
just
hang
there to
out.
figure
He
out what's going on with
sees
hardcore.
hardcore. He's realizing that he's got an actual chance with this one
Right.
who's kind of nice and appreciates him. And then also there's Rick Flag Jr. there keeping his
Yeah.
attention, the man that he killed.
Distracting him from all
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So I think I buy what you're saying. I think there's a lot going on that makes that less likely to being clocked.
Right.
Right.
And they kept him distracted enough every time we saw him
Yeah.
there
Exactly.
that it kind of works.
I would say that it's almost more overt if there were people with Hitler mustaches, because I
Yeah.
feel like Peacemaker's mind
Yeah.
is, I'm gonna make fun of the way people look. Like
Yeah.
he's
Exactly. He
like
was
he always does
definitely
that,
thinking
right?
about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like the whole through line for the first season was him talking shit about Economos. So I know he would talk shit about someone like
Someone
Yeah.
having a
Hitler
Hitler mustache.
mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You know?
Like, yeah,
Um,
for sure.
let's talk about the small focus they put on Rick Flag Jr. that I thought was gonna pop up again.
I was just gonna bring up.
You know?
Uh,
We see at
mhm.
the beginning of the episode, and what's kind of cool is this is the first well no, let's in the beginning of an episode, I forget what episode it was, it shows Rick Flag Jr. and Harcourt having slept
Yeah,
together. It's the morning
relationship.
of. Through their dialogue, we get revealed that he's about to go to Corto Maltese in the events of the Suicide Squad. It also
Right.
mentions that he's still dating Enchantress.
Yes.
So there's a couple of
Yes.
things that they do with this, which is they build that they say that Harcourt and him used to sleep together, that he's still with Enchantress, that he cheats on Enchantress with her.
Right.
He's not
'Cause he
happy
can't
with
prevent it.
Enchantress. It's the
Right.
day before Corto Maltese, so it's bringing that Corto Maltese part into the new DCU. Though the
Mhm.
events might be different because I heard that Harley Quinn hasn't been revealed yet. Like it's not.
Mhm.
So Harley Quinn might not have been in that mission.
Okay.
So like we know that Peacemaker was on that mission. We know that Rick Flag Jr. was on that mission. And Enchantress exists, so she was probably in that previous mission. But other characters we don't know. Weasel, probably, because
Mhm.
Weasel was in Creature Commandos.
Creature Commandos.
So the
Yeah.
events of Creature Commandos comes out of that. So
God, that
there's
shit
a lot
was
of
good.
play it here. Were you guys surprised to see Rick Flag Jr.?
I was like, especially for how much I saw him in it. I think like I figured it was gonna be like just a flashback, but like, yeah, I was very surprised and seeing the relationship between him and Hardcore. Like it, like also makes so much sense why she fought against being with Chris so much, like in the first season. I mean, besides him, the other obvious reasons, but like, yeah, it makes so much sense why she fought against it and why, like, and how like it defined her going into the first season.
Yeah. It really like I think I like audibly popped whenever it was revealed that he was there. I was like, holy shit. Like this is
Right,
crazy. And then my brain immediately was like, oh, we're in the other universe.
That's what I thought
right,
And
too.
then he
Yeah.
starts talking, and I'm like, oh, no, this is like
right. This
this
is
is
definitely
main
not him.
universe. So it
Yeah,
was just this big flip flop, and it was really, I think it did so much for Harcourt's character and like
yes,
our understanding of who she is
yes,
and why a lot of these things are coming up, which I thought was like really great. And it also, I think, added a really good dynamic between her and Rick
hmm,
Senior
yeah,
throughout that second half of the season. I think it was really interesting. So yeah, I thought that was awesome. I thought it was such a good reveal. I thought it was played really well, and I think it was well written too. And it gave us
yeah,
a lot of information that helps shape how we view the events of this new DCU, I think, which was really
mhm,
fun.
Yeah. Um my big thing about this season is I needed to see more of this alternate universe, and it just kept teasing because I kept thinking to myself, I'm gonna every time a new episode would come up, once I knew the theory, I was like, this episode's gonna reveal. I need it to reveal to the characters. I
mhm.
need the shoe to drop. They waited on it for so long, and I'm stuck watching dumbass Saint Wild to try to hunt Eagly, and I'm like, I don't care about this. Show me. You don't have to spend the whole season in the other universe, but like you've already like introduced it. Like, why are we waiting so long to do that, right?
Right.
Um, and it was so weird to me that like I want the lore of that world. So
Mhm.
when the 11th Street kids, or at least a couple of them, um, um, go into the other world, um, finally, finally we get Adebayo walking down the street, and I wanted to see what happens. I knew
I should not
they weren't
audible
gonna
laugh
kill
on
her. I
that.
knew they weren't gonna kill
Yeah,
her because James Gunn wouldn't do that. Essentially, Adebayo is the only
yeah.
person of color on the 11th Street Kids. Like everybody else is white, you know.
Yeah.
But like, what happens to Adebayo when she walks down the street? And
Right.
finally it dropped, and that's where they
Right.
end the episode. And I'm like,
And
finally.
I shouldn't laugh as hard as I do when it happened, but when they audibly yell "Black," I bust out laughing. I don't know what that was. I was just like, "What is?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Yeah, I was like, "Okay, so this is this is what's happening."
But then he says one got out.
One
Out.
got
That
out, and
was
then they yell out "a black." I'm like, "Oh, this is
yeah.
crazy."
The tension that they used to build that up too, of just like,
Yes,
okay, is it? I mean,
like
if you've been
the
paying
slow
attention throughout the
culmination of
show, you know
everything.
that this
Yeah,
is not true. But also, just like, okay, is this just? Yeah, it looks like a very uppity, gated white community. Is that what
yeah,
this is about? And
that's
then it
literally
gets like so intense. It was like really, I think they did a great job building up that scene.
yeah.
I just wanted it to be a couple episodes earlier. Just
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree.
Yeah, I wanted more. Yeah, I wanted to see. I would have loved more of them, like staying in that universe, like Adebayo, and like seeing, especially seeing more of Adebayo and Judo Master together, and like maybe
Hmm.
like having to fight off more of that, and like seeing what like Vigilante of that universe is doing more, because like
Hmm.
because we all like there was also something I wanted to talk about with that universe, and when Vigilante was talking about, oh, my dad's not gay in this universe, and now looking back at like what's going on, I'm like, no, but your dad's probably definitely gay, but he's definitely in a world where he can't express that he's gay.
and they're not
I
happy
did
So
not
either.
clock that till now. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Wow. Yep. That makes
yeah,
total sense.
it didn't hit it until I
Opposite
was like,
ends of the couch watching
right,
TV. Oh my
literally,
God. I can't believe. Yeah.
literally, just sitting there, just like watching TV, and it's like, and I'm like, maybe that's just because, yeah. I mean, then once they said it was, once him, Judo Master and Adebayo started talking about like, being you can't be gay or be a different color, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And like, but I think the big thing that I was most surprised about was me feeling bad about Peacemaker's dad dying. I like
You want to tackle
that.
that? We could tackle this because
Yeah,
every time this season introduces something, there ends up being two camps that like
yeah,
there are things that are too subtle sometimes, and there's things that like aren't subtle, but like some people it's
yeah.
too subtle for some people. And then there's some
Hmm.
Hmm.
times where like they're almost too on the nose that it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like, I don't know. Like, I thought it was going to be like too on the nose for me, but the way he explained it, with like hardcore and everything, when he was like, "Don't call me a Nazi," and he was like, what he put, he said, "I didn't create the problems in my world, Missy, but and I don't agree with them, and I applaud you for if your world is perfect and you fight every injustice." And he just basically said, "I'm just a product of my environment. I'm like I can't help what I am, and like I'm trying to fight what I can with what I can."
I
And
don't
like
buy that shit. I didn't buy it at all.
no,
I mean, my opinion is it's a couple of different ways. One is he's a Nazi that he doesn't want to say he's a Nazi because it just sounds
mm,
bad. Because I mean, we have our world.
yeah,
Hmm.
Some people just don't like the label. This could actually go
for
for
sure,
anything. Some people just don't like the label, but they are
yeah.
what they
You
are.
Hmm.
are what
They
you
just
are,
don't like the
right?
label of it, you
We
know?
are
Hmm.
what we
Um,
are.
but like, there's that. Or he is kind of like, I don't like Nazis, they go too far. But at the same time, he works within the system and he benefits from everything that is given to him,
Very
and
true.
he doesn't actively fight against anything. Um, and like, I
But
guess
again,
what's the third option? Like, he's just a good guy stuck in a tough situation. He is morally just what is he supposed, like, people online were just like, what is he supposed to do? He's just a nice guy in a Nazi world. And it's like, no, I don't buy that shit. I don't buy that shit at all.
he I think if we got more of him, or more of a relationship of him, like, because we don't like, I think if we got more like story of him, because we don't know, he could be in the resistance with Vigilante, and
No,
we
he's
don't,
not
and we just
resistant. He's not in.
probably not, definitely probably not.
I
But
don't
we
buy
can
it.
hope. Like
Yeah.
we can hope. But I think the only reason it was more believable, especially, was because of the fact that he didn't agree with Keith in wanting to kill
Yeah,
them, like, just off rip, and not wanting to kill, like, Adebayo and Economos, and all the, like, just for like the strength of it, honestly. And I think that's where it ended up working the most. Where I'm like, okay, I believe you somewhat. Like, you don't want to do these things, but you're in a world where this is kind of the status quo, and you kind of just gotta deal with the cards you're dealt with. Like, not saying it's right at all, and
yeah,
by any means, because like, you're still, like you said, working within a system that's actively going against all these things. So
yeah.
you have some responsibility, but yeah, it was one of those things where I think because his dad is originally such a piece of shit, that I'm like, oh, you're not you're not the worst piece of shit that there could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like what they were trying to do, and especially because he gets mad at Keith for even like chasing down like Adebayo. Like he gets mad that he was involved with that kind of behavior, which I thought was interesting.
Hmm.
And I think he says something like, I taught you not to do that or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is still very much within working within a racist
Right.
Nazi like society
Yeah.
where he's like, oh, it happens, but we just don't participate in that particular version of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you're like this much not a piece of shit. Like,
Right.
Right. Right.
so like, okay, I guess. But I mean, it is just one of those things where it's like, okay, we spent, I guess, only really like 2.5 episodes with them.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, okay, how can I explain this in like this 3-minute scene that I
Spend
want
more
Right.
them?
episodes there. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
no, I
Get rid of
agree.
Say
I agree.
Wild.
I 100% agree. And I think I think that was part of the struggle with this episode or with this season was, okay, we get that one 30-minute episode
Right.
of them talking about the way that they interact with this world being different than maybe the immediate interpretation, which I was just like, oh, I would like to have spent more time there to get to know those
Exactly.
characters
Yeah.
Yes.
because the time that we do get is
It's just
before the
Chris's experience.
character revealed that it's
Right.
the Nazi Earth. So it's like, okay, oh, it's great to see them talk about like be kind to each other as a
Right.
family. Like it was great to see those interactions and you get to see
Yeah.
why Chris wants to be there, not only because of his brother, but his dad's telling him he loves him. Like
Yeah.
all of those things were like so interesting. And it would have been if we got the character reveal of that world being what it is and still had a whole other episode to
Exactly.
interact with
Having to sit with it.
them knowing that, I think it would have been a stronger uh way to deal with those characters. And I
Yeah.
think we might have been able to have a better understanding or interpretation or know how we're supposed to interpret those characters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think there's
'Cause-
two ways they could have dealt with this reveal. One is reveal it to the audience before you, like, clearly before you
Mhm.
introduce it to the characters, and let the audience learn more than the characters learn, right?
Mhm.
So that, like, for example, we see in the foreground Chris having this ideal life, and in the background something bad happens. Like the audience gets clued in what this world
Mhm.
is. We get a reveal to the audience about the flag, and then we start putting the pieces together and try to see him piece things together.
Mhm.
As opposed to, I feel like we and the characters get introduced to ipso facto, this is what this world was
Right.
at the same exact time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And so I feel like that was a thing. I do think though with Augie, and I hate Robert Patrick's face, not because of him, but because of his character. I hate his face so much. That at the very least he loves Keith and Chris, and Keith loves, like, the three of them love each other.
Yeah.
That part I think is real. But I think the idea that like Nazis are incapable of love is a flawed premise. Like
Yeah,
we
very
know
true.
that like Nazis can love. The
Right,
idea
they all
of
have
like I
families.
love my family. I'm not a horrible piece of shit. It's like yeah, you
Right.
can still be a horrible piece of shit and love your family.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
It's
two things can be the same at the same
Yeah.
time.
yeah. So for me, I'm like, why did we spend so much time on some stupid ass shit where we could have spent time in this other universe and like learned a little bit more about it? Like
Mhm.
we deal with the Sons of Liberty real quick as he massacres them, and then we find out that Vigilante meeting Vigilante. We find out a little bit more that Vigilante works with the Sons of Liberty, and then we don't get anything more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I would, and I very much want to see more of that. Like, that's why I need them to do a season 3 because like there's so much that they left like hanging on the fruit of that. Like the whole thing of like Keith being left alive, like like that, like of him being the sole survivor of his family now, like just like essentially Peacemaker is, and having to like do that. Like what we essentially just watched the arc of a supervillain, like of his like arch nemesis, like. And I think that that can lead into a lot more amazing results. But so hopefully they do something. If they do something with that, if they possibly do something another Peacemaker, they like do more with the like X universe, and like we get to see more of like, especially like Vigilante there. Like I love them in their
Yeah.
Spider-Man movement.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. To have it'd be such like the focal point of the whole
Yes,
season, and then to just completely not mention it at all in the finale.
right. At
And
all, honestly, yes.
none of those things
Damn.
like had any real effect on the finale episode, was just like kind of odd.
yeah,
Yeah,
And it makes it seem like I mean, obviously they're not gonna, I mean, hopefully not leave that just on the table, but
right.
it just felt like a weird thing. And it's like that's been the story of the season, of the
Right.
whole season, and now we get one episode, which I liked, but we get one episode that is like a different story.
Right.
yeah, yeah. Some people thought like were saying online that like the second to last episode seemed like the season finale, and this seemed like a season premiere for a
Hmm.
season. And it's like
Yeah.
you know, it's not all like I don't know. It seemed a little weird for me. Okay, so work with me here as we move into talking about the finale episode. A
Mhm.
lot of superhero content, a lot of action movie content is the character changes their personality to move the plot forward. So it's plot first,
Mhm.
character second. The character will be angry at a moment that maybe they shouldn't be angry at, just so it can lead us to the next plot point,
Right.
right? The
Hmm.
characters are immaterial. The plot is the only important thing. You know, bad guys have an explosive. They set up the explosive. The character needs to track down the bad guys and do that, right? This season is the way James Gunn is treating this is almost the opposite in a way that I've never seen before. So that's why I'm taken aback because like mostly there could be like even characters and plot working hand in hand. The characters stay true to their character, and then the plots happen and whatever. In this, I felt like it was all about the characters' arcs, which they did arc, but at the point where like the plot also wasn't set in stone. Like the plot got whatever the plot, like whatever we needed from the plot to move these characters
Mhm.
forward, as opposed to whatever we need from these characters to move the plot forward. So I felt like that might have been the problem I had, where it was all character arc, and the plot points, the amazing plot points that we had, did not matter at all. The goal was just get the characters to where they need to be emotionally by the end of the season,
Hmm.
not physically. Where
Mhm.
in other things it's like get the characters to the holy grail by the end of the season. That's all that matters. I don't care what happens to the characters, just get them there. It's the opposite. It's the reversal, and that's what's weird to me.
Yeah. I I think I'd be curious to know what I would have felt about the season had the last episode been episode 7.
Yeah, like the penultimate,
Um,
like yeah.
just because I feel like that does that, right? It takes what we've been building towards the whole season, which is this other dimension, Earth. It talks about how these characters are changing and evolving and growing, and then we move out of that universe. And yeah, I think this episode, the finale episode, really just it brought the 11th Street kids together again and really cemented where I think they are all uh, as a group, which I thought was really good. And honestly, like some of the best emotional writing and the best
Oh my God.
character moments. But again, it felt like we're getting this whole other plot now, and it wasn't really discussed ever about like, oh, Rick Flag maybe has this alternate agenda at in his mind about what they could be using this stuff, this technology
Yeah,
for. There's not really, I mean, we get his kind of like rage and grief throughout. So that kind of, I guess, works with the way that they just dump Peacemaker in there. But it felt like some of the characters then acted in that episode unlike how they've been acting the rest of the season as well. And I think, yeah, Rick Flag's character just for me feels the most inconsistent throughout the whole
agreed.
season, and especially in that episode, which I guess is why people are talking about it. Like, oh, maybe he's got something else going on. And Dimitri, you mentioned this as
Yeah.
well. But it is just like, yeah, I don't know. It did feel like we lost the plot for the last episode a little bit and
Yeah.
just started a new one.
Now that you say that like that, yeah, it does leave a little bit to it because like the everything else, like everything up to him making the prison planet makes sense because like you're essentially doing all this stuff out of grief for your son and you're like doing all this stuff to get Peacemaker and like using all these funds just to get him, and you're saying it's because of justice, but we know what it is. But the salvation part of it all is, yeah, what threw me because like you were very, very, very adamant about the whole like portal and the pocket dimension thing, and like not wanting that to be another, like, not wanting to have another Metropolis on your hands. But you're literally going out of your way to find this stuff and do essentially the thing that you came here to, like try to stop. And boy, so you say. So like that is one of those things where like I can see now where y'all mean like, okay, maybe Luther did do something to him, because that's a very, because I agree with you, Josh. It feels like it's one of those like you're just doing your moves are erratic. You're just doing something just to push the story forward sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that his Rick Flag's story is over once he captures Peacemaker
Yeah,
in a compromising situation. Like that's what he wanted, right?
right.
Is
Hmm.
any reason to lock him up. That could have happened, right? Like at the end of season or the second to last episode, like that they leave it, they come back. That's all you need.
Right.
But this
Hmm.
idea that like okay, we start off season 2 or the finale of season 2 with Chris. Wait, what happens? He doesn't lock him up. Does
Yeah,
he?
I mean he's in prison.
He
Hmm.
and then
They
he's
they
on
bail him
bail,
out. Yeah, they use the blood money to bail him out,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and then
and I guess start a business.
he
Right.
he disappears, right? Like he
Yeah,
goes
he
to
he
the
runs
hotel.
away. Yeah.
Runs away. And
Okay,
can we talk about the room of just drugs and cash that that Vigilante just has,
yeah,
that he doesn't want to use because it's dirty money, but you just have it? Like,
yeah. And then Adebayo's like, let's put it to some use,
right.
I think
Yeah.
Vigilante's logic, he's never logical. He just needs to make what makes sense for him in that moment.
He has the
Like
logic
that's
of
what he
like a
Hmm.
does.
12-year-old. He has the logic of a 12-year-old child
Yeah,
too.
because it's
Like,
inconsistent,
yeah.
you know?
Like
Um,
as a 12-year-old, that would make sense. Like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna use it because it's bad, but I don't want to like destroy it or whatever. So I'm just gonna keep it here, like just so nobody else can get to it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Also, if we're dissecting Vigilante, I just thought that like the way he deals with people who make fun of him is that he attaches himself to him to like, but his mother who doesn't make fun of him, she's very supportive. He
I'm like,
lashes out at her
abs-
the way that other people lash out at him.
yeah,
And it just seems, and probably the way this brother lashes out to him, right?
not
Like,
right.
I just think that's interesting. I don't like
Yeah.
the. I'm down. Like I'm agreeing with Adebayo. Like
Yes,
I
I
get they're
did.
fictional characters, but like stop treating your mom like that.
She's
Like
your mother.
you know.
Yeah, but yeah, it breaks
Mm.
my, especially because of how nice she is. Like she's just like the sweetest little thing. Is the sweetest little thing. Like
Yeah.
she's like, your friend Lee's coming to see you. He's like, oh, and
Who
then she apologized. He's like, that's Adebayo. He's like, oh,
or
I'm so
ads?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is so. I was like, she just
Well, and
wants the
then she
best for
says
her
like,
son.
"Oh, my wife calls me Lee,"
Mhm.
and then she's like, "Unless you, what vigilante said, unless
But
you're,
unless you're both giving each other cunnilingus, then
then don't call her
get
Lee or
Oh
out.
my
whatever." Yeah.
god.
So there
Yeah.
were funny things, but at the same time, like if I'm gonna see a character arc, I need to see vigilante be nicer to his
Yeah.
mom. Like,
And
Yeah.
she probably accepts it because she's seeing how bad her like his brother treated him like growing up probably.
and her husband left her. Like it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
sad,
That's the only thing you have, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
you know. My, my big problem with this finale also is that yeah, people putting it out online. Like we get 2 music videos essentially. It's like, can we not have
Mhm.
2 bands playing their whole songs the whole time on the same cruise, just different times later? Like I get that you want Foxy Shazam to play because they play the theme song. Great.
They put that through
Do we
that
need that Nelson band? Like I love James Gunn and I love that he introduces me to new bands. Does not mean
yeah,
that every new band that he introduces to me to
it's
is gonna
gonna
be
be good.
good.
Yeah.
I do not give a fuck about Nelson. Like, only 2 Nelsons I care about: Nelson Mandela and Nelson on The Simpsons. That's it.
Now I'm not gonna lie, that first song where they're swaying and stuff, I did like that song.
But
Where
we
they
don't
like
need the
kiss.
whole thing,
Oh
right?
no, no, no. That one, the secondary song when like when they go back to the rock boat and like they're like dancing, I'm like, no one needed this, but I'm glad you're together though. So like I'm gonna let it
Yeah.
go. But like yeah. I was like, this is unnecessary. I was like that theme song, they said, oh, we're gonna get our money's worth for this bitch. Like
Yeah.
that was the through line through the whole season finale and the episode before.
I
Yeah.
just yeah, we spent so much time on that it was like, could we have spent it elsewhere?
Yeah, but I did like the. I mean, I wish we could have seen more of like the buildup of Checkmate and everything, and like
Yeah.
because I don't know much about Checkmate. I know it's a part of the DC universe, but I just don't know.
So
I don't know the ins and outs.
the thing about Checkmate is I wasn't so like fanboying. I wasn't like over the reveal of Checkmate because here's also
Yeah.
the thing is that in the comics, Checkmate is a governmental organization that is global, and the gimmick is that they have a black king, a black queen, white king. Like it's chess. Everybody's
Okay.
given a designation, and then there's 2 parts that kind of check and balance each other. It's kind of Hellfire Club. Is that what you said?
Okay. Yeah. It's all
Yeah.
right. It's giving Black Queen, Black King, White Queen
Yeah.
energy. Okay.
So okay, they're it's like a chessboard, right? But it's a official organization. So when they introduce it as a startup, I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Fine.
but all agencies got to start off somewhere, and I mean, I
No, a
guess.
governmental agency doesn't start off as a startup.
True. I mean, hey, we don't know how Checkmate started. Maybe they started off as an agency, then they became a government startup. Who knows? I mean,
Uh I don't know. Anyway, point being is I'm not so excited for it, but like it's nice to see that whole team together though. I'll say that.
yeah, yeah. I was very much excited about the new additions that we get to the team. Like as like when we get to the Checkmate, like of Judo
Mhm.
Master being a part of it, and Tim Meadows' character being a part of it, and what was it, Sasha Bordeaux being a part of it.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
some reason, I don't know why I randomly think this, but I was like, I can see Sasha and Adebayo getting together. I don't know why I think that, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's also the glimpse that Economos gives to Sasha. Like he's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I saw that too.
oh, your boyfriend, and she's like, he's not my boyfriend. Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. That would be a weird relationship that I would be okay with as well, honestly.
Yeah.
I think I'm
She's way out.
jealous. I'm jealous of Sasha Bordeaux with anyone other than me. So I think
I didn't mean
that's a
understandable.
problem that I need to get over. But I did hate her
You know.
and Rick Flag Sr. getting together. I just didn't. I thought it was gross. I just was like,
Yeah. It was gross. I didn't buy it in a way that did. I didn't buy it in a way that felt real, other than like, I don't know. It felt like I'm trying to make myself important, so I'm gonna hook up with the person in charge,
Yeah.
and that just made me feel gross.
I thought she was a
And
double
it felt like
agent
her.
too. Like I thought that maybe this
Yeah.
was hinting at her trying to get to Rick Flag on behalf of somebody else, like Waller. If she was Waller's mole in the organization, as far as I know, she wasn't. She was just
See, for me,
a girl that liked Rick Flag. Like it's so weird.
yeah,
to me.
yeah. For me, I just thought it was just gonna be like it was just she's nasty, excuse the term, bitch, and we're just gonna and she likes nasty people, and I was like, okay, maybe this is just what it is, and like she likes like the true him. I don't know. I figured it was gonna be her more so like maybe she manipulates him, but then it just became I like you and I want you.
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't work for me very much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I could have lived without it.
I do like the montage part of them checking every door and doing all those things, and we do see the one guy get his face ripped apart, sure. And then they keep going to different places. I thought that all that part was cool. I have no complaints about that part. Other than we see like what is Rick Flag doing?
Yeah. Like partying in the headquarters is crazy.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
For folks that are more in tune with the DC than I am, did any of those were they anything related to lore, or was it just fun gags?
They were just fun kind of gags, because I think also James Gunn is trying to stay away from the multiverse, which I think is smart. And I think that's probably why we didn't spend too much time on this alternate Earth, because they kept calling it Dimension.
Maybe the deceased universe, maybe, or with that zombie universe. Maybe the deceased universe with that zombie universe.
People were bringing that up, but like that all honestly looked like Revolutionary War.
Yeah, they looked like
it
colonial.
did.
And there were zombies, not like the deceased zombies are a little bit different. Like, so not really, other than generic, like we got Candyland, we got this weird hell dimension with the skulls, and they were like, nope, we're not going to
spiders,
then you got the zombie dimension, sure. And we don't see what else they came across, but they weren't showing us different versions of the DCU.
Right.
Which was
okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I appreciated that. And I even liked how they did the Earth X stuff too, as it not being, they didn't lean into, oh, we're just going to show all these different things. It was more about the character.
Yeah.
And where the characters were, which I appreciated.
Here's a question that I thought. That door that leads to the black hole, is that the pocket dimension that Luthor created? That was my own.
I mean,
that was my thought.
I mean, it looked a lot like that final bit in Superman.
Yeah, maybe.
That was my only thought. That like maybe that was because I think they shut that pocket dimension off. So I'm sure, and then it just that door takes them straight to that black hole.
Straight there. I mean, his note even said it in one of the files back to Rick Flag. It's like, looks promising, Lex, with a picture of that black hole, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, I did not even see that.
In the comics, the introduction of Salvation is the thing that excited me a little bit, but I kind of saw that reveal of him throwing Peacemaker there.
Is that something in the
So
in the comic?
yeah, that's also the fun part because Salvation Run is a short-lived miniseries that I read intensely, and people don't bring it up. So if anyone acts like they knew Salvation Run, like any like normie, no, they didn't, because Salvation Run has never been adapted ever. Like in Salvation Run, essentially what happens is, yeah, there is a planet that is in outer space that they can teleport to, that they decide we're just gonna throw the villains there. So the mini series is really cool because the mini series is like Lord of the Flies. All the
Okay.
different heroes or all the different villains get thrown there, and then they create two camps. I think it's Lex Luthor and Joker's camp, I think. And then a lot of like you get a lot of like villain versus villain fights, like Monsieur Mala versus Grodd,
I'm
and
about to look
like
this.
things like that. And then you find out there's a twist of like a hero that is there in disguise, and like so it's a cool like mini series. So when they mentioned Salvation, cool. That being said, I think that people are going bonkers in theory because I feel like, is this their first time watching a superhero adapted thing? Basically,
Right.
people are like, "Oh, Salvation Run, that's a planet that was set up by the Apocalyptic and New Gods." Like that the New Gods created that planet. It's like, yeah, in the comics doesn't mean that Salvation Run in this leads us to New Gods. It
I'm
just
gonna be
Yeah.
is a
reading that.
prison planet.
Yeah, that looks good. Honestly, I feel like that could be adapted into like the main universe. I mean, into like in the comics now if they really want to do it.
I mean, they
Like,
could bring in the New Gods, but they don't have to, because I think the
I'm no, I'm talking
idea
about
of,
Salvation.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like Salvation, because that yeah, I just found what you were talking about. I'm gonna read that now. So thanks
it's
for
yeah,
that.
Salvation Run is it's super fun, and you get to
I
see
love a
the
good villain
like
book.
what are the villains like when there's no heroes around,
Yes,
you
I
know?
love those kind of books. Yeah, I love a good like villain book. Just like seeing villains get the villain and like not just like being foils for the superheroes. Just like what is your everyday like? That's why Poison Ivy works. That's why like Catwoman works. Like
Yeah,
we just get to see them be. I'm like,
yeah. James Gunn mentioned that this was part of his pitch for the DCU, and so which makes me think that like Salvation is going to be an ongoing plot point where,
yeah,
and it has to boil over. It's
yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he said in the last episode, he said in the interviews like it's going like Salvation is going to be something big for the DC universe, and I'm like, oh, okay, so now I want to know what that is now, but I can definitely see it meaning something, but it just depends on what's supposed to come out next.
yeah.
hmm
Because aren't they almost done with this phase like of everything,
Not, I mean, here are the
or
things that
we're
are
probably
coming
in the
out.
midst of it?
The for sure, I mean, as we're closing up, I guess, this podcast episode, like what's to
Mm,
come, right? We know that
yeah,
Supergirl, I don't know what comes out first, Supergirl or Lanterns, but Lanterns or Supergirl is next.
I
hmm
think Supergirl is first. I think.
Yeah, Lanterns comes out next year for sure, but I don't know whether they have a
hmm
release date yet. Um, Set to premiere in early 2026, so it might come out before Supergirl, because um, Super, Supergirl the movie comes
Oh,
out.
June 26, 2026.
Yeah, so chances are Lanterns comes out next, then Supergirl,
Yeah,
Okay.
then
I'm ready for that.
Clayface. Clayface is filming right now, so that's gonna come out, and
hmm
then Man of Tomorrow should be coming out after Clayface.
Nice, nice.
But like we don't know anything else. So
Hmm.
Man of Tomorrow, I think, is a Lex Luthor centered movie. It's not Superman 2. So Man of Tomorrow, I think, refers to Lex Luthor. So
Yeah,
maybe the next
hmm
time that this plot point gets brought back up again is probably Man of Tomorrow.
that
Yeah.
yeah, probably. I'm
Unless
I
still
they
would.
waiting.
unless at the end of every movie they throw the villains into Salvation.
I think that will be I think that will honestly be a good little like through line like backstory for each of them, and then build up. That could be their end game moment if they play it right. If they're not exactly in game, but like that could be their like big moment if they like play the slow burn and like put the right characters in the right positions. I feel like that could be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would make sense.
Yeah, because you can make
It
Salvation run a whole show if you really want to. Like if like at the end of all the movies and everything, like you can make that like a whole show within itself.
I mean, it could also be building up towards. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is James Gunn's pitch. That Salvation is the first time a lot of the villains meet each other, which means they start creating alliances, which means it backfires in their face. The fact that like, you know how like when you put a kid into prison, like in real life, the kid starts
Right.
becoming like learning bad things from
Yeah,
other
exactly.
prisoners. Like that's just the way it works.
right.
So now we got this other planet where they create essentially the Injustice Society or Secret Society of Supervillains or whatever they want to
Right.
call it, which necessitates the need for the Justice League to step up. I don't want to see the Justice League's first battle be up against Darkseid. I'm okay with Darkseid never showing up. But like,
Yeah.
I want to see a full team of villains go up against a full team of heroes.
Yeah, I would like that.
Which even the MCU never did. Like the MCU never did a
Right.
Masters of Evil like against the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
I
DC
think
could.
They
Yeah.
really could, and I think it would be a really smart way to slowly introduce all of these villains that you want to put in there through different story,
Right.
and then also it provides that big enough threat and reason for a full-on Justice League kind of threat without it being something where we see all the time with aliens or whatever trying to
Yeah.
destroy the world. Like it gives us something
Right.
different.
It gives us variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to know the spoiler for the Salvation Run miniseries? Who the hero that's there is?
For sure. I want to.
You want to know? It's Martian Manhunter in disguise as another villain,
Yes,
and
God.
they find out and they like take him captive. My point being, the only reason I bring it up is that's just a good way to introduce a Martian shapeshifter
Yeah.
Mhm.
in that.
It'll
And
be
who's to
great.
say if I'm calling it now, like maybe the new Justice League movie is called Justice League Salvation? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I would be totally fine with just Martian Manhunter being it. He is literally like top 3 favorite DC characters for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, now that I'm talking about with you guys, like I'm hoping they're. I think James Gunn needed a couple of hits in his pocket with the DCU to be able to greenlight some of the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think now he has enough in his pocket that like I think Supergirl when it comes out it's going to be a crazy hit. I think Lanterns is going to be a hit. I don't know
I
about
think
Clayface, but like
I'm skeptical about Supergirl. That's the
Mm.
one I'm very skeptical about. Like I don't know how it's gonna hit, and I think it's because I don't see her as Supergirl yet. But like I just have to see. It's probably just gonna be like just like how I thought with Superman and with Fantastic Four. Like I'm going into it not thinking I'll be able to see it, but literally once it started, I was like, okay, I see these characters as these characters.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm hoping for Lanterns? I'm hoping that like the female demographic watches Lanterns because I feel like
I want to.
it could be a show that like girls and their moms watch because of the two
Yeah.
main characters. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre? Yeah, for sure. They're
Yep.
gonna watch it. I know I'm watching it because of that. So they're definitely gonna be watching that.
So I think hopefully Lanterns might bridge the gap, and then like Supergirl, the idea that like these movies aren't just for boys in their
Yeah,
basements,
guys.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And
you know.
hopefully we can get them like everybody to support it because I think that's been some of my hang up with some of the MCU stuff is like as soon as it's like a cool female character or a cool different character, they don't show up. Nobody shows up.
Like, because
And it's
Ironheart
like-
just like popped out and I didn't even know about it until it literally came out, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
it ends up being really good, and then but nothing like you don't get the promotion that MCU doesn't support the things that need the support that they need. That they need to get.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go on a side note, but like Ironheart had three things against it. And I don't mean actual bad things, but three things
Mhm.
that causes a drop off of the viewership. One is she's black. One is she's a
Mhm.
she, and so black woman, and she's a legacy character.
Smart, but yeah,
And
a legacy,
people don't want
right?
to buy into legacy characters,
Yeah,
and that'll
especially of
affect you no
another,
matter what. But like
right?
Hmm.
the other two parts is just people being stupid.
Exactly, a legacy character who is also black and a girl. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
where you're
Ugh.
gonna fall into it, and like you hate it because like it could like this could be so good, but like you just refuse to get into it because of the way you think of certain things should be. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know your guys' thoughts for the DCU going forward, but I am still excited for everything. I know that this season, Deanna was asking us, and we covered this in the beginning of the show, is like, yeah, how did we feel about season one versus season two? Like,
Yeah.
I just felt like season one was way more cohesive, and
Mhm.
season two was just kind of, it was very character focused, and those are my
I
final
think that's why
thoughts.
I think that's why I like it so much because it was character focused. I love me a good like character development moment and like just watching them like get to grow into their characters and like even like the conversation like the heart to hearts that Adebayo has in the last see episode like from her with her wife like and like having the mature conversation that I feel like everybody wants to have during a breakup, but you can't have that
Hmm.
conversation. And
Yeah.
then like there's also like the moment of the suit of her talking to Chris, talking about like how like you the only time like when he keeps talking about how he's cursed, and like that moment of like just getting to see her like convince him like you're not the problem when you don't listen to yourself, that's the problem. And like
Hmm.
watching that through line, like I think that's what made it so good because we like usually you don't want to root for the misogynistic guy or whatever at the end, but like you see that this guy is actively growing and like actively
Is he cutting out?
Yep.
Okay.
We lost.
Aaron will come back. Josh, you
Uh,
can.
yeah, I think I
to
kind
be a
of
better person and like, we're
Wait,
good.
are we good?
Yeah, we're good. All right.
Aaron,
no,
did
you're
you?
good.
Sorry, did you want to finish your thoughts then? If you got cut off, Aaron?
Yeah, what was the last thing you heard me
I don't
say?
know. You just cut out.
um but I was
Actively growing and whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think like that's the thing where you actively when he's actively growing and you're actually seeing the change and you kind of want more for him in that aspect, like where you didn't expect, like, oh, he's changing. And like I think that's the thing that you want from a good show, like a character that you hated but you didn't expect that you loved.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I think I feel both. I think I feel two separate ways equally almost. I feel like I loved the character arcs for just about every character minus
Mhm.
uh Rick Flag Senior Hating Club. I think I really enjoyed all the character moments a lot. I think they did a really good job like letting these characters develop and grow and change throughout the whole season. The flip side of that is I think that the story sometimes wasn't there in terms of uh, through line plot to provide those clear situations for those character arcs to happen. I
Mhm.
think they just happened. And then there was other stuff happening in the background that maybe wasn't as important. And I think it felt, especially with the last episode, that it was just trying to it needed to hurry up and set something up for what's
Set a
happening
tone.
next.
Mhm.
And it felt a little bit of the Iron Man 2-ness of it all, where it's like, okay, we got to just put in the things because we need to let people know that more stuff's coming later, without actually making that the story.
yeah,
So I think that's kind of where I land on it overall. But I am really excited for what's coming moving forward. Like I have always been a big Marvel guy. Don't know. I'm just now getting into a lot of the DC stuff, but I couldn't believe how stoked I was for Superman coming out. I saw it so many times. I think it's great. I
Mhm.
love it so much. So yeah, I'm just excited about what's to come and all the different projects. So
Awesome. Um, yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. I think that like this season was a little bit of a letdown for me, but I'm okay with not like I'm not holding it against James Gunn. It is what it is. We move on, and I think there's a lot of other things to look forward to. And for anyone out there who's not reading DC Comics right now, go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you. DC Comics is firing on all cylinders right now. They just had like new news coming out of New York Comic Con about some things to come, which we will be talking about on an episode we're doing tomorrow night, where we go over all the news that came out of New York Comic Con. So like, there's a lot of cool stuff. DC Next Level, and then DC figuring out what is Vertigo and what is Black Label. Like, this is a real good time to be a DC fan, as long as you're not a sort of nitpicky, pedantic asshole. I think is probably what. It's okay to take a deep breath and be like, well, there are other things we could focus on. You know,
yep.
um, it is what it is.
It's also a great time to jump in.
Yeah.
It's a great time to jump in.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
I didn't know that you were a new DC fan.
Yeah, I mean, aside from reading like Batman
Yeah.
growing up, I didn't really read any DC stuff aside from the miniseries like Supergirl, Woman Tomorrow, and stuff like that. I would read, but not any mainline stuff until All In.
I mean, All In was a great place to start. I'm
Yeah.
hoping Next Level is a sub branch of All In, that All In is continuing, and that Next Level is just for those like there's like new series that were just announced. Like
Yeah.
The Demon, which is the Demon Etrigan, or Batwoman gets her own series again. Batgirl, or like Barbara Gordon Breakout is a name of a new series that's coming out. So
Okay.
Batwoman and Barbara Gordon are getting series. Zatanna is getting an ongoing. So like cool, There's a lot of cool stuff. So I'm glad either way you guys are gonna be on Comic Talk to talk about all that. So
Cheer.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. Before we get going, Aaron, where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Of course. So you can find me at King Krakoa on TikTok and the King Krakoa on Instagram. Nothing up coming up, but you always catch me there. Find me.
Awesome. Joshua?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Joshua Stephen Ling. Just talking about comics as much as I can.
I mean, that's the burden that we have. Read comics, love comics, love talking about comics. But that's kind of the goal of this show and all the other shows that we do is like, we're spreading the love of comics. So thank you guys for being awesome with that. Before we get going, if anyone hasn't, followed The Keeg Show, you can find us on social media at The Keeg Show on Instagram and TikTok. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show, wherever you can find The Keeg, we are at, including patreon.com / The Keeg Show. We're going to be doing some major updates to that soon enough. So, get in on the ground floor of our Patreon. Any little bit helps, and we pretty much use it for advertising. And if we get even more money, we can spend it on editors and that sort of thing and create more content and like tighten things up. So patreon.com / The Keeg Show. Go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, pick up any of the stuff that we talked about, learn some new things, explore some new things, experiment a little, and then also support your local public libraries. That's also a thing. Now, this is the Keeg Talks Peacemaker Season 2. Tomorrow night, we'll be going over all the news that came out of New York Comic Con. But normally, we do have Comic Talk every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com / The Keeg Show, or wherever you get your podcast from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and SoundCloud. We're on all of those. But if you have to follow us on one thing and one thing only, pick your poison, TikTok or Instagram at The Keeg Show, because, that's probably our central spot. That's pretty much it. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Joshua, so much for coming on the show. Thank you to Deanna Kinney. If you're not following Deanna, follow her on social media at Deanna Kinney. And then shout out to anyone who is watching us live or listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Pereira, and this has been the Keeg Talks Peacemaker Season 2. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot. Cause it's the king, and we got geek news.